Things. There was a folk that didn't like her. They didn't want her there. See, those judges had about a $30 million budget a year. And there was a folk very upset about her getting in there. And she had chaos and problems from the time she took that judge seat. And in January of this year, they announced they got what they called special prosecutors to investigate this judge. They did that about the end of last year. And in January of this year, they announced 9 indictments against this judge. 9 indictments. Now, to tell you how foolish these indictments were, 2 of the indictments were for theft. 1 of the indictments were misuse of a credit card. That's 1/3 of the indictments. But let me tell you about these indictments. It was so bad and such a fight that somebody sued the judge. Well, it wasn't somebody. The Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office sued the judge in her capacity as a judge. Now, it was the Hamilton County, it was the Hamilton County Public Defender's Office that filed the suit, and the prosecutor's office filed suit too. But the prosecutor's office, you can't sue somebody and defend them. Sounds like a conflict. But the prosecutor's office, after they had sued her and had all kind of complaints against her, wanted to represent her in court. And she said, you can't do this. But they anyhow appointed some folk to represent her, and guess what they did? Absolutely nothing. Now, when somebody files a lawsuit against you, if you don't file an answer, guess what? The other people win. So because they filed not one answer, she, in her official capacity as a judge, filed the answers herself. Simply filed 11 answers. And the filing fee is $100 each. She filed those 11 answers. Now, had the attorneys done it, she wouldn't have had to do it. And it would have cost them $100 per filing fee. She did it and used her corporate or company credit card to pay for the filing fees. They said, because you use the court credit card to pay for court business, we're going to call theft and misuse of a credit card. Now listen to here. They want her to go to jail because she spent $1,100 on a court business filing fee, and they spent $2 million trying to keep her out of the seat. Something is wrong with that. We happen to be in court right now. We're in court right now. That court case started on last Monday. And we're in court right now. And, you know, sometimes they think people are walking alone. But that's why you need some voting people, some standing people, some strong people that said, I'm not going to vote and turn my back or close my eyes. I'm going to vote, keep my eyes open, and make sure the people we vote for are treated right and have the strength. And we can tell folks they're not here alone. They're not here by themselves. Come on here, somebody. They're not here alone. They are not here by themselves. So that court case is going on right now. And I encourage people, Google it. Look at it. And this is in Hamilton County. We're sitting there. They're doing jury selection on last Monday and Tuesday. Mr. Thomas was there. They're doing jury selection. And the prosecution dismissed 4 African Americans from being on the jury. Just dismissed it. I said, what's up with that? And you know, they were asking these questions. They said, do you listen to the Buzz? The Buzz is the urban radio station we have in Cincinnati. Do you listen to the Buzz? They said, do you listen to Lincoln Ware? He's one of our main talk show hosts. They said, have you been to that Word of Deliverance church? Word of Deliverance church I pastor. I said, whoa. Have you been to Word of Deliverance church? I said, are you kidding me? Because we have not been nasty like the station up and down. I mean, calling this judge all kinds of names. And if we don't vote and understand the power that our vote gives us, people think they can walk all over us. But we got to stand up together and say, not now. Not now. It can't happen here. It's not going to happen anywhere. And check this out. Some of us are getting older, but we got some folk coming behind us. And we want to pass this baton to some folk that say, all right, we got your back. Come on here, somebody. That's why we're here in Central State tonight, because we need some folk to tell us, we got your back. Are y'all ready to do that, students? Are y'all ready? Are you ready? I need y'all to make a noise. Reverend Sharpton is in the house, so if y'all make a noise, he'll come on in here. Come on. I need you to make some noise in here. Let it know you ready, and we got you. Come on. So this voter engagement rally is for you. It's to encourage you to register, to vote, because it makes no sense. Too many young black men, too many unarmed young black men are falling dead. It makes no sense. But it all starts at the vote. Are you hearing me? It all starts at the vote. Is Reverend Sharpton ready? Reverend Sharpton. It all starts with the vote. Are you hearing me? It all starts with our vote. Do we have a promise you're going to vote? Come on, y'all. Do you have your promise? I want you to keep standing. I want you to keep standing. Now, first of all, I want to acknowledge members of John Crawford III's family that was gunned down ridiculously at Beavercreek, Wal-mart. Will you wave your hands? They're right there on the front row. We're so glad y'all here. Give them a hand. You know what I love about the Lord? He always appoints and assigns somebody. Gives them the grace, gives them authority, that when folk think they can turn the lights out, think they can treat folk any way they want to treat them, think that folk are walking all alone, he has somebody assigned. When he says, I've heard the cry of my people, I've come down to deliver them. He always has somebody that can turn on a bright light. And I heard him say, when the light comes on, the roaches scatter. I wish I had a little more help in here. It is my honor to introduce to you a great man, a working man, a hard working man, that when the need comes, he's there. When we call, he's there. They called him in New York, he's there. They called him in Ferguson, he's there. We called him in Ohio, and he's here. Put your hands together for Reverend Sharpton.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Give Bishop Bobby Hilton a big hand. Sunday, the Bishop Hilton, who heads our National Action Network chapter, to our State Rep, Alicia Reese, who's doing such a wonderful job, and to all of you tonight, our CI Head of Religious Affairs and Association, Reverend Nelson River, in the audience. Let me say that, oh yeah, Marshall McCoy is here from Cleveland chapter. Where's Marshall? Okay. I'll be a Cleveland. Let me say it, I want to get into the voting, but I want to be real clear that all of us around the country are very concerned about the Crawford case in Beavercreek. And the reason that we are concerned is because when you look at what is going on around the country, inside of 3 weeks, we saw a man choked to death while being videotaped and says 11 times, "I can't breathe." And the policeman kept choking until he died. Now the chokehold in New York alone is illegal. But even if it wasn't, when does your humanity kick in? When somebody says, "I can't breathe." Right after that, we see a lady on a freeway in Los Angeles where a policeman jumps on top of her and hits her over and over again, unarmed, without her doing anything to respond. Then, as I'm holding a rally, we rally every Saturday in Harlem, I come out of the rally and I head downtown and get a call from Reverend Toon. There's a grandfather on the phone that wants to talk to me from Ferguson, Missouri. I never heard of Ferguson, Missouri. He connects with me and he tells me about his grandson. I said, "Well, sir, we try to get somebody to handle that out of the Midwest office." He said, "Well, you understand, he's been laying there 4.5 hours in the open air like a piece of meat." That's when I said, "Well, I'll come to Ferguson." Then we hear about Crawford. Today, young man killed by police in Savannah. Now, I'm not saying that every case the police is right or wrong, but I am saying that every case the police unions say the police are always right. And I do not believe that we're having a national hallucination. How you have all these cases, all unarmed, and all of them, the police just happen to be right. The reason I start with that is because many people keep telling you that are young people here in Central State or that are in the community that have come about back in the day in the civil rights movement. I've come to tell you tonight, you still in the day. And then you talk about what happened back in the day. If people your age are being killed right now and nobody will do anything about it, you still in the day. Talk about, "I wouldn't have took it in slavery. I wouldn't have took it in the back of the bus." Look at what you're taking right now. It's easy to talk about what you wouldn't have took. But you sit right here, Central State, 2014, young man your age dead. They have a tape, and the Attorney General says, "I'm not going to let the tape go." They already done run down their narrative that the young man was pointing a gun at somebody, which has poisoned the minds of a lot of the public. They're going to take out of the poisoned minds of the public a selection of grand jurors who already been told the boy was pointing a gun. So the fair thing to do is put the tape out. So when the grand jury meets, they walk in at least knowing what was and wasn't on the tape. In a football game, what do? They go to the tape. If there's a close call in a baseball game, then his foot hit the base first and then the ball gets there first, they go to the tape. If there is a call in a boxing match, that Mayweather hit below the belt, they go to the tape. I've come to Central State tonight to say to the Attorney General, let's go to the tape. What's Sharpton doing in town? Go to the tape. Because if you won't go to the tape, and you have the tape, we can only assume what we want. That's right. A grand jury is a secret procedure. This is a public concern. Leads right into why we're here tonight. We are being discarded and disrespected because they think they can win. Oh, they know we get mad for a minute or two. But as long as our anger is a fit rather than a movement, long as they have you divided and confused and disconnected, they don't have to worry about you. Oh, they get mad there too. May break a window or two, but don't matter, they ain't doing nothing. We gonna have the power. I was telling the African American Chamber of Commerce this morning, Reverend Bishop Hilton and Representative Reese and I were there. And I was telling them that I grew up, my father lived when I was 9. It's a whole ugly, harmful, psychologically damaging separation from my parents. Mother raised me by herself on welfare, the whole bit. And for many years I wouldn't deal with it. As I got older, didn't even know where it was, found out where it was, but was bitter. But of late, I've tried to establish a relationship with my father. About 3 weeks ago, I was in Orlando, Florida, speaking, and he lived in Orlando. I took him to breakfast. And he's, over the last several years, apologized for things he did. And I told him at breakfast the other morning, I said, I didn't bring you to breakfast here, no more apologies. I wanted to ask you about my aunts and my uncles and my grandfather. I want to know about my bloodline. I was fortunate to make it anyhow. People like James Brown, singing others, became like a father to me, but they were not my father. And I wanted to know about my genetic tree and what folk was like, because you never know who you are till you know who you come from. And he began telling me stories about my grandfather and about my grandmother and about my great-grandfather and all that he knew. And it occurred to me, Reverend Rivers, while he was talking, that one of the worst things that happened in slavery, and many of them were terrible, was when they separated families. Not only did they separate families because they wanted to break the bond and break people conspiring. One of the things they do when they broke up families, mother sold to Alabama, daddy to Mississippi, sister to North Carolina, never to reunite. When they break connection, you lose the narrative and the story of who you are. There's nobody to tell you your story. And they erase your memory. So when they can erase your memory, then they can reinvent you into whoever they want you to be. If you don't know who you are, then anybody can tell you something else and you will be that because you don't know no better. So if you don't know about James Brown singing, "I'm Black and Proud," you don't know about Aretha singing "Respect." If you're disconnected from that because somebody tell you that's old school, ain't got nothing to do with you, they can reinvent you into calling yourselves a nigga and your mama a hoe. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You can sit up in a state where the governor can tell you you need special ID to vote. And you be saying, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it is we always had ID to vote. That ain't nothing new. We had ID when Nixon ran, and Carter ran, and Reagan ran, and Bush ran, and Clinton ran, and Bush Jr. ran. But now we get to Obama, we need some special ID. What's wrong with ID we already had? And then they look at you like you're crazy. Well, rather people should have ID. People always did have ID. You're trying to require ID that you know that certain targeted areas will be disenfranchised and don't have that kind of ID. Why do they need it? Well, we fight fraud. What fraud? Justice Department says 0.0003% fraud. Why are you giving us medicine for something we're not sick with? But if we can lock you out of vote, if we can rob you of the right to vote, that's why Shirley Chisholm, when I was a kid, energized America when she ran. And that's why the Shirley Chisholm today, Alicia Reese, trying to get you the right to vote in the state of Ohio. It always takes young, gallant black women that'll pick up the slack when some of the black men won't stand up. It's time for us to rise up. Because if we all were right, if young people in Ohio was registering to vote and turning these campuses upside down, the Attorney General and governor and everybody else would take the bass out their voice and talk to us like they got good sense. They talk arrogant because they think they can. But if you were registered to vote and organizing to vote and fight for the right to vote, I could get on the stage because Kasich would be up here himself. This is not about you helping someone, it's about helping yourself. Well, Red Mal, I don't know if voting make a difference. Really? Ain't no difference between George Bush and Barack Obama. Ain't no difference between not having health care and having health care. Ain't no difference in you being able to sign to your mama and daddy's insurance till you 26 and not. believe in this. I believe in fighting the man. Well, how you gonna fight? Why don't you figure that out? Let me tell you something. We have got to engage in what's going to get some results. We concerned about Michael Brown in Missouri. A grand jury is going to decide that. Grand juries are chosen by registered voters. You concerned about Crawford? A grand jury is chosen by registered voters. Don't be so mad that you get past the point of being able to do something about what you're angry about. And our challenge is that we must organize as Ohio goes the presidency, and who will decide who will go in the White House after Obama, and who will serve in this state during the midterm, will be those that vote in the state of Ohio and those that don't vote. Let me tell you this, those of you that don't vote is voting with your non-vote. Because every one of you that could vote, that don't vote, you're helping the opposition. I told some folks in 2012, we was down in Georgia, and I said, come on, we got to vote today. Man, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, let me ask you something. What are you doing today on your schedule? They sitting on the corner, passing a beer around, doing nothing. I said, look like you got a heavy schedule. What y'all doing? Well, I ain't doing nothing. Okay, well, it takes you a few minutes to vote. Since you ain't doing nothing, you don't think it'll do nothing. Since you're not doing nothing more important, come through this. Any excuse. I'm telling you, there's nothing more important right now in this country. In light of all that we're seeing, black unemployment double, black youth unemployment double, people getting degrees and can't find jobs, we need to vote about it. Police shooting unarmed people, we need to vote about it. We don't know the difference between winter and summer. Folks run around talking about they don't believe in climate change. We need to vote about it. There are serious things happening right in our lifetime. And we need to deal with it, and we need to deal with it now. Let me tell you this, and I'll let you go. The cultural perversion. Right. Don't let nobody tell you that we are a race that can't achieve anything. We are a race that can achieve everything. Don't let people define you outside of who you are. I argue with some of my friends in the hip-hop community because I tell them how you define yourself is how you be dealt with. Many of y'all know I took this position against using the N-word lyrics. Some of my hip-hop friends got mad at me. I got on one night, Bishop Hill got on television, debated one of the rappers about the N-word, and he had for about an hour, 10 minutes, a nigga fit on me, nigga. I said, brother, we've all used the word, but I just think it gives us a ceiling on our young people's ambition. Nigga. I said, I just don't think we ought to keep using the word. I got free speech. I said, no, you don't. Yes, I do. I said, no, you don't. I said, if you go to the studio right now and cut a CD calling any other race a name, they will not put it out. Think about it. You can't make an anti-Irish record, and you shouldn't. You can't make an anti-Italian record, and you shouldn't. You can't make an anti-Jewish record, and you shouldn't. You can't make an anti-gay record, and you shouldn't. So let me get this right. Anti-Irish hate speech. Anti-Italian hate speech. Anti-Jewish hate speech. Anti-gay hate speech. Call black niggas free speech. I mean, you can't be that stupid. You the only one in America that they call a name that is I. He kept living. All right, he left, I left. About 3-4 days later, I was traveling. I got in the night, got in the morning, read the newspaper. He had been arrested. In some altercation, I read the law, kept going on about my business. Next day, they called me from National Action Network headquarters, same rapper on the phone, want to talk to me. I said, well, put them through to my cell phone. They put them through. I said, how you doing? Man, I ain't doing too good. I said, yeah, I heard you got arrested. Yeah, man, I got busted. I said, well, what happened? Man, I got busted. I said, well, anything I can do? Yeah, I need your help. I said, you need my help? Yeah, man, they violated my civil rights. I told them niggas ain't got no civil rights. How you define yourself is how you confine yourself. Don't let nobody tell you their view of you. You tell them who you are. They sit up on these programs talking about the problem with black young people is they come from dysfunctional homes. No, we come from homes that maybe everybody wasn't there, but we learned how to function. Daddy left when I was a little boy, but mama never was dysfunctional. I debated this guy, this right winger, telling me, well, your problem is that they don't have enough family in your community. Yeah, we need to work on our family. But that doesn't define who we were. I said, if I told you I know a man come from a broken home, only saw his father a couple of months in his whole life, grew up different places, never really a stable place long, do you think he'd ever amount to anything? He said, probably not. I said, well, next time you're in Washington, go by his house. He has 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Tell you what you are and what you are not. However you were born, whatever circumstance you were born in, you didn't choose that. Nobody asked you before you got here what kind of parents you wanted. What was your economic strata going to be? You didn't choose it, you were just born. But you can't choose what you're going to do now that you're here. And we are people that always learn how to make the best out of a bad situation. If I stepped off this platform and walked over to your seat and knocked you off your chair, that's on me. But if we come back next Thursday night and you still laying on the floor, that's on you. What do I mean by that? Even if you are not responsible for being down, you're responsible for getting up. If you're down, don't rest, don't lounge, don't get comfortable, get up. Don't lay there and rap about I'm down, get up. If you can't find the strength to get up, roll over and look up till you can figure out how to get up. But don't accept being down. I ran for president in 2004. I never forget, we had a debate one night in Detroit. And I went on to somebody from Detroit to house. We had a debate in Detroit outside the Fox Theater. And I was on stage and I debated. When I come off the stage, some reporter from the Free Press said, "Right now, you did pretty good." I said, "Thank you." He said, "In fact, I think you won the debate." I said, "Thank you." He said, "You should be proud of yourself." I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "We up there debating Governor Dean and Senator Carey, Senator Edwards, and Senator Lieberman. You up there with senators and governors holding your own. You should be proud to be up there and do your own on that." I said, "They ought to be proud to be up there with me." He looked at me confused. He said, "Well, why would you say that?" I said, "They come from a family of wealth and power. They were born on third base. I wasn't even born in the stadium. I had to come from the parking lot down through the bleachers, then score to get to first base and then come around. But we all on the same stage now. If they had to take what I took, they may not have been able to get here, which means I must be stronger, and I must be tougher, and I must be smarter, because it took more to get where I had to go." Don't be looking down on me. If I had to come from front to back, it must mean I'm stronger if I'm right where you are. So quit being ashamed of your background, because your background